Today, I'm talking about these 7 toxic tactics of the female covert narcissist. These are the tactics she uses to dominate and control you. In time, you will very much become like a little puppy dog seeking her approval, always trying to please her, giving her everything you've got, and in return, getting the bare minimum. She will likely throw you a bone here and there to keep your hopes up, but in the end, it's a very slippery downward slope. It's really important for people to recognize the signs of a toxic partner, especially when it involves covert narcissism, because their psychological abuse can be very insidious. Narcissists, whether covert, overt, or hybrid, almost always lack self-awareness and take zero responsibility for their abusive behavior or for their own healing. Okay, so here are 7 toxic tactics of a female covert narcissist in no particular order. Disclaimer. Almost always lacking self-awareness, narcissists take zero responsibility for their abusive behavior or for their own healing. Now, obviously, there are also toxic and abusive covert male narcissists, but I find there are not enough resources for men who are being psychologically abused, which is why this is the focus of my videos. So, just a reminder that this content is for informational purposes only and is not intended to replace professional support or services. If you like this video, please take a moment to subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell so you don't miss anything. The first, reinforcement. The female covert narcissist will entrust you with her most vulnerable experiences and information. She'll do this very early on, talking as though you're the special one she's never trusted like this before. However, after the love bombing stage is over, she will start to act as though she made a big mistake trusting you. She will accuse you of doing things to make her feel insecure and unsafe, not putting her as a priority, not defending her, not keeping her happy and secure like you promised to do. This negative shift in her will be entirely your fault. The only way to get the good version of her back, the version that you fell in love with, is to show her and prove to her that you are good enough, that you are worthy of her trust and of her love, and that you can give her what she needs. So, the female covert narcissist will be sending you strong repeated messages through her words and actions that if you want this version of her that you had in the beginning, and if you want the fun, the fantasy future that you envisioned with her, you'd better get your together and show her that you're the man that you said that you'd be. So, all the pressure to make this relationship work quickly falls on you. You need to fix yourself, you need to try harder, learn her, and in order to win the long game, she needs to give you some hope. So, she throws you a few crumbs here and there. You have a nice time together, a good conversation, sex you feel like you're getting somewhere, like your efforts are really paying off. But then, boom, some little thing you said or did, sets her off, and again she's disappointed in you, pulling away from you, blaming and rejecting you. Her sweetness turns bitter, no matter what you do. But through this pattern of intermittent reinforcement, you are being trained, you're being programmed to believe that you are defective, you're flawed, and you need to figure out what she needs. And if you don't, you're not worthy of her, or anyone else for that matter. Second, passive-aggressive. The female covert narcissist is super passive-aggressive. She will create arguments out of thin air by accusing you of being negative, being in a bad mood, having a tone, a look, even though you're 100% fine and nothing is wrong. She just keeps pushing to find out why you're mad until you actually are mad. Or she baits you into fake fights by pushing other emotional buttons. And once you react, it's all about that. Or maybe instead of accusing you of being mad, she may act upset but then refuse to tell you what's wrong, refuse to communicate about it, making you beg to find out and beg for forgiveness without even knowing what she's upset about. And after it's all over, you look back and still you don't even know where it came from or what it was about. And that's because it's all fabricated. This is an attempt to discharge her negative emotions onto you, keep the defensive upper hand, and keep you thinking that you are the problem, Third, defensive. She is incredibly defensive, and if you try to talk about something that's important to you or something that's bothering you, she will dismiss, minimize, or shut you down. In other ways, she will not be open to hearing you out or to any sort of compromise. And if she's done anything to contribute to the problem, even if the entire problem is something she's done, don't expect her to take any responsibility whatsoever or to apologize to you. And if by some chance you do get an apology, it is a ploy to get you to see that you are ultimately to blame. Fourth, careless. The female covert narcissist is extremely careless, impatient, and reckless with your emotions, especially if what is hurting you is related to her. So, if you cry or show your sadness, it will not faze her one bit. Zero empathy. She will see it as a weakness and use it against you later. So, if you can fight any fears or past traumas with her at the beginning of the relationship, you can almost be sure that this will be used during arguments as reasons why you are the way you are and why you are at fault for whatever is happening. You cannot win with a female covert narcissist, no matter what you say or which way you turn. It will be wrong, you can count on that. For example, let's say you're having an argument and you decide to go for a walk to cool off. She'll be angrier because you're running away without trying to resolve things. If you stay, she'll get even angrier, saying you're being too aggressive or pushy. Fifth, contrast. The female covert narcissist will compare you and your relationship to others. And again, no matter how much you do for her, how much you spend on her, whether it be time, money, energy, it's not going to be enough. You will try harder and harder, but you will still feel unworthy and unappreciated. Meanwhile, she is making very minimal effort or contribution in the relationship. Although she will act and seemingly believe that she is doing everything, these comparisons make you feel like you've done something wrong, like you don't deserve the closeness, the connection, and the love, that it's all your fault. And this can pull on your competitive nature, making you want to show her, prove yourself, that you are as good or better than the next guy. In the long run, you work harder and harder, not realizing that for every step forward you're taking, several steps back. Sixth, grading. Along the same lines, many female covert narcissists will start grading your performance. For example, she might say you were only a 6 out of 10 last night, or that vacation was only 40% of what I was expecting. And she will show this chronic dissatisfaction with the amount of affection or compliments you give, how much money you spent, whatever effort you put in. And she will be nitpicking at you, criticizing, and putting you and your efforts down, again, no matter how hard you try. The covert narcissist will have a lot of boundaries that go one way. Any boundaries or rules that you have will be disregarded, and if you need or want anything, it's unimportant or stupid. The double standards when it comes to any type of boundaries are absolutely ridiculous. Seventh, control. She needs to know and control everything you do: when you go, do groceries, when you go to the gym, when you talk to someone. She accuses you of this, that, and the other. This is not always due to jealousy, but often it's just to do with controlling you. She questions not only what you do, but how you do it, as though you can't do anything right. You are treated as completely incompetent, and you will likely find yourself starting to doubt yourself on everything, second-guess yourself, check with her on almost everything that you do, as though you didn't even have a mind of your own, afraid to make a simple decision and fear of having to deal with guilt trips, silent treatments, and other negative reactions. What you may not have figured out yet is that no matter what you do, the outcome will be the same. It's actually very, very predictable. Over time, gradually you will be stripped of any self-worth and self-respect you ever had. You will be constantly adjusting yourself, trying to figure out what you're doing wrong, how to please her. And eventually, you'll look in the mirror only to see a shell of the person that you used to be. You may even start to see the monster that she's painting you out to be, feeling like you are completely unraveling mentally and emotionally. But once you can see these toxic tactics and predictable patterns of abuse more clearly, you will also see that you have become the narcissist's puppy dog, her human pet, completely dominated and broken down psychologically. So, don't take my word for it, just look back to when this relationship started and ask yourself, is she getting better or worse? Has your relationship improved or deteriorated? Are you evolving or devolving emotionally, mentally, spiritually?